Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So the light is going to be so weird in here. It's morning time and we have so much light that comes in through our house in the morning, so I'm like trying to close everything up and it's just weird. So hello, good morning. I wanted to come to you guys with another truth video. I'm not calling these are not conspiracy videos. These are everything that I talk about with you guys is like out in the open. There's nothing conspiracy about it. I don't know, just kind of fill you guys in on stuff like that. But sorry, I just woke up. Like I don't have any makeup on clearly, and I'm still in my pajamas. But a good friend of mine here on YouTube, I'm not going to call her out because I don't know if everybody on her channel knows how she feels about stuff, so I don't want to out her, you know. But she recently asked on her Instagram, basically, how many people were okay with going out into the world as these restrictions start lifting from this whole thing. And when I saw that it was 67% did not feel comfortable with the restrictions being lifted, my mind was blown. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I was like, trash that video. We're gonna start a new video. And I know I don't have a really big following. I know I don't have a very big voice, but if I can use mine, and this is another thing, when you see all of these, I don't want to waste too much time talking about this stuff because I have so much to talk about, but when you see all of these influencers and they're just acting like everything's totally fine and everything's totally normal and they're totally cool with staying home even though everything seems very shady, it just, it almost makes me mad. Why doesn't anybody want to talk about this? So when people do talk about it, it's actually really comforting to know that people are not all asleep. So that's why I decided that, you know what, also my comments were disabled after the last video I did. So at this point, I just don't even care. I'm going to say whatever I want and no one's going to stop me. So I'm just going to talk some facts with you first. Let me pull it up on my phone too so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So worldwide, there is 8 billion people, you know, I mean, give or take a few, but 8 billion people worldwide. 234,696 people have died from this bug. In the US, there is 332 million people in the US right now. Now, the number that you and I see flashed across the screen of death toll is not actually the number that the CDC has on their website as just from this bug. On their website, just solely from the bug, not including anything else, they have 11,356. If you don't believe me, let me block this out. Hold on. This is the CDC's website. Okay. You see that? CDC? That's on their website. I'm not making this up. And then deaths including, I'll blow it up so maybe you can see it better. Deaths including pneumonia, influenza, or CVID have the 54,217. Now this is actually from April 11th, so this is from a couple weeks ago, maybe a few weeks ago. Okay, you see that? I'm not making this up. That's actually what they have on there. So go look at it on your own. Now, when they say that, you know, those cops had those officers, what am I doing? Those doctors had come out, you know, that video went viral, and they're talking hey, we're being pressured to put this on death certificates, which death certificates do not just have. Normally, I won't say always, but for the most part, from my understanding and everything that I've looked up over the last several months, they do not just have one single cause of death. That's not realistic. When people die, it's from several different things. Say you got hit by a bus. Well, you would probably have a massive concussion. You would probably have maybe a severed spinal cord. You might have had severe trauma to your organs. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just assuming that there would be several things put on that death certificate, and not just singled down to just one. So that's how they're getting that really high number. And that's not, like, when I said this a few weeks ago back in the old video, everybody's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, well, look who knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so moving on from that. So let's scroll down from that and we'll go on to deaths from flu. I know a lot of people don't like to use the flu because this new bug, there's so many different variables. We're still learning about it. X, Y, and Z. Like, there's just so much still to learn. But still, from the flu, in the U.S. alone, there's normally between 24,000 to 62,000 per year. The reason I'm bringing these following numbers up is because the way people are acting, the how fearful they are for their life of this 11,000. Okay, I'm sure. Okay, let's even round it up. Maybe a few hundred more died since then. So let's go up to 12, 13,000. Let's go up to 15,000. Let's round all the way up. Okay, let's say 15,000 people in the United States died from just this, without those other things that could have factored into it. And their number, let's pretend their number is right, which I don't even trust that number because they lie to us about everything. But let's say 15,000. Okay, let's give them benefit of the doubt. You would think that people would be scared to drive their car. You know how many deaths occurred in a car accident? More than 38,000 died last year in car accidents. Okay, I lost my brother in a car accident. 4.4 million people are seriously injured every year. 4.4 million people. But we still drive. We still have to get from A to Z, or from A to B every single day when we're at work, which I'll get into that next. But 4.4 million people are seriously injured. And I guarantee you that after they are injured, let their healing time commence, let them go through this healing process, and then they're going to get back in a car and they're going to drive because it's life. You have to keep going, right? Okay, so cancer deaths in the United States. Now I'm gonna tie all this in. Just you wait. I'm gonna tie all this in. If you guys can stick with me, I know we're already at 10 minutes, but just stick with me, okay? Cancer deaths in the United States. This is not singling out any specific type of cancer. This is just in general. There are 606,520. This was last year's cancer death rate in the United States, or not rate, I guess, number in the United States. Now, alcohol deaths. In 4 years between 2006 and 2008, there were 88,000 deaths from alcohol. Drug overdoses in 2017, there were 70,000. Now, I want you to listen to those numbers that I just said. The 88,000 from alcohol and 70,000, then that alcohol was between 4 years. So break that up between the 4 years, okay? It's not going to be as high as the drug overdose. The drug overdose in 2017, just 1 year, was 70,000. So the alcohol, it doesn't really compare. Like, that's way less. So if you look up, is there a link between depression and cancer? There is. Why don't you go, just look. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but go look that up yourself. There's definitely a link. Go look it up yourself. Among the individuals with major depression, roughly 16.5% have an alcohol use disorder. I'm going to tie all this in, just hang tight. 18% of drug use, like drug abusers, are also major sufferers of depression. Now, this can go vice versa. This could be they took the drugs or the alcohol and now they're depressed, or they were depressed so they turned to those things as options. Okay. Now, why am I bringing this up? Wait, hold on. Before I get into that, I'll say, does unemployment cause depression? Short answer is yes, but it also leads to serious diseases. As of today, 22 million people are unemployed. Now, these people have not been unemployed for a week, and they're out looking for jobs relentlessly. They're sitting at home, told not to go anywhere. Depression is a huge thing in the United States. It's a huge thing everywhere, I think, but mainly in the United States. So when you have all these statistics and all these numbers that I just gave you, you're going to have a lot more people sick and developing diseases and overdosing or getting alcohol poisoning. I didn't even mention domestic abuse in here, but it is outrageous right now. Not to mention all of the kids that are being abused, like sexually, which I think I'm going to do a whole different video on that, because I'm not even going to talk about it right now, but that's a really big deal. Depression, unemployment leads to depression. Depression can lead to drinking. All of these all these liquor stores are still open. People are sitting at home miserable, so they're buying drugs. And the people that sell drugs are probably out there hustling more than ever before right now, because there's so many people in the market. You know what I'm saying? So the government doesn't care about your health. Let's just get that out of the way. Okay. Those statistical numbers, like, just keep those in the back of your mind this entire time, okay? Now, let's fast forward to a totally different topic. California is currently releasing 7 high-risk sex offenders. Let me show you their picture really fast. They're releasing a warning, first of all. If that's not telling you something, it's like they're like, we're going to release these guys, but we feel like we should give you some kind of heads up. Just heads up, we're releasing them for the sake of COVID. Don't mind the people that these pedophiles have probably killed. I haven't read their stories on each of them, but I'll just show you this group of winners right here. We're letting all these folks go. Okay. Well, these stand-up citizens are getting a free ride out of prison because of this COVID. Simultaneously, a woman in Oshkosh, I named all my stuff. I thought it was funny. Like, I named the prisoners, Let Them Go, Callie, and Oshkosh by Gosh for the woman I'm getting ready to talk about. Okay, so this woman in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, was recently jailed. Now, I talked about this in my last video too, not this particular story, but I talked about how they're releasing people from prison, which I didn't think that they were that severe cases. I thought maybe they were like, you know, like maybe they were selling marijuana or something. I said this in my last video and everybody's like, you're blowing this out of proportion. That's not true. Well, I was right. And I hate to say that I'm right about this stuff because this is such terrible stuff. I don't want to be right about it, but I am. This woman in Oshkosh, she was jailed for working her non-essential business. So basically, this woman is a dog groomer, okay? I don't know how many of you guys have dogs. I don't know how many of you guys have taken your dogs to the groomer, but I am a frequent visitor of the dog groomers, and I take my dogs there regularly. When I take my dogs, I have never seen more than 5, actually I've never even seen 5 people in the waiting room. It's normally like maybe 1 or 2 at the very most, or I guess 3 including myself. But you take your dog, you drop him off, you come back several hours later, you're not hanging out in the waiting room. So the police showed up to her business, arrested her in front of her customers while she has dogs like still to take care of, and took her to jail. Now, she did get released, like, oh wow, it's so great of them, how kind, right? But she did get released like an hour or so later, and then she had to go back to work and finish what she was doing. Now, my problem with this is they're saying that this is not an essential job, and I want to just scream every time I hear that that's a non-essential, that's a non-essential. To who? Because let me tell you something, it's essential to these workers. They need this money to pay for their mortgage, to put food on their table, to care for their families. That's essential to them. So yeah, sure, thanks government daddy for giving me my $1,200, or if you have kids, maybe it was $3,000 or $4,000. Wow, that went far. Guess what? You're probably running out if you haven't already. Because mortgage payments, I mean, there's a mortgage payment, like half of a mortgage payment right there, even if you have kids. If you don't have kids and you're just getting the $1,200, that's just your mortgage payment or your rent. Like, that depends on where you're even living. The cost of living differs through the entire country. So this non-essential thing is disgusting. Now, if you want to sit home and you want to play victim, then that's on you, right? You should not be telling anybody that they shouldn't be going to work because you're scared. It's our body, our choice. Remember that phrase? Can we use that here? If you want to be scared and you want to live in fear, then go for it. But the rest of us can't just sit home and not go to work. And again, I don't understand, like, okay, well, if you're staying home, then what do you have to worry about if we're going out? What does it matter? You're gonna spread more germs. Guess what? When you take a whole bunch of people and then the only place they go is to the local Walmart, that's spreading way more germs. You're gonna go there too. Because guess what? Pickup orders are so far out, like, oh, better start planning. Better start planning for mid-May. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. This woman got arrested because she was trying to make money for herself instead of rely on government daddy to give her money. And she's getting in trouble. But meanwhile, down the street at Lowe's or down the street at the Walmart, everybody's safe down there and getting to go in and pile in by the hundreds. Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, next, we're gonna drop all of this and we're gonna get into the techie stuff for a minute. Again, in my last video, I shared with you guys how Google is tracking our phones to see if we are social distancing like we're supposed to. We're all being good boys and girls and social distancing. Well, that's not all they're doing. New Hampshire, this is actual news. This is not like they're going to or they're thinking about. This is already happening. New Hampshire is now flying drones around to check citizens' vitals. You heard me right. Check their vitals. So they're flying these drones, and these drones are checking to see if you have a fever, to see what your oxygen rate is, to see what your heart rate is. Probably not oxygen. I don't know how they would do that. I mean, maybe they could. I don't really know. But they're checking, I know for sure, your heart rate and your temperature. And they're also checking to make sure, like, if you haven't seen it, look it up. Look it up, New Hampshire drones or something. They're showing basically what the aerial view looks like from the drones. Hold on one second, I need a drink. The drones are up above, and they put like this little circle around you. It's like a perfect circle of the 6 feet that you're supposed to keep from all the other individuals. And then there's like a line on you measuring, like, I guess how tall that you would be. I think they said that they use the same kind of tech as what they use for like ultrasounds and stuff, which is crazy, like just mind-blowing crazy to me. Are you guys okay with that? Like, for one, there's so many things that could go wrong with that because, first of all, it's new technology. Things can go wrong with new technology, period. Secondly, what if you're out with your family? Are you like, so it's okay for you guys to arrive in your vehicle and get out and come from your house, but now that you're out in public, you guys have to like, what? Okay. Also, are you cool with them just checking your vitals? What if you're out, let's say you're out at the park and you're exercising, so your heart rate's up, and maybe you're hot, so now your temperature, your body temperature, your core temperature is up. Let's alert the police. Hey, this is a drone calling. You need to go check on these citizens. They're not following social distancing. There's so many things that could go wrong with that. Plus, it's stupid. Like, what an invasion of privacy. I'm going to just spin off of that really fast and say, you know, a lot of people are talking about, hey, let's go ahead and do these tests before we go back. I don't know if you guys have even heard this or not, but you know that first batch of test swabs that the CDC sent out, and they're like, those are all contaminated, we're gonna need those back, and don't pay attention to those, okay? Just don't pay attention. Well, turns out that all those swabs that they had sent out were tainted with the actual CVID virus. Look it up. It's actual news. You just need to like step back, turn off the TV, close your eyes, and just answer some simple questions in your head. Like, what's really going on? Even if it was the 54,000 people that they're claiming it to be, even though flu's gone down and pneumonia's gone down and all these other deaths are now being counted as COVID when they're not supposed to be. Let's just think. Shut the entire world down? Put all these people out of work? Does that make sense? It shouldn't make sense to you. Now, a good friend of mine, she's such a sweet person. When I mentioned that I was going to be doing this on my Instagram, she came to me and she's like, hey, so you should totally talk about how people are acting towards people, because I was at Target this past weekend, and there was a woman in front of me, and she had a 10-month-old baby. I'm going to get into how she knew the baby was 10 months old in a second. But she had this 10-month-old baby, and while she was standing in the checkout lines, these two different people had come up to this woman and condescendingly talked down to her about her bringing her baby out into public. So my friend, being the sweet person that she is, went and talked to this woman. She's like, hey, are you okay? Because she just saw this woman had just tears just streaming down her face. My friend's like, what's going on? Are you okay? She goes, well, I just lost my husband 2 months ago, and I don't have anybody to watch my baby. We had run out of all of our food, and when you try to do grocery pickup, it's like several weeks out. We don't have anything left. I had to come out. So think before you open your ignorant mouth, is all I'm saying. And I'm not talking to my people. I know that people that follow me would never do that, right? Because we're all on the same page here. You don't talk to people like that. Ever. You don't talk to people like that. YouTube's CEO is now telling people that they cannot promote any type of natural... I'm trying to figure out how I can say this without my video being completely shut down before anything goes on. Natural supplements. If you talk about any kind of natural supplements, your channel or your video or whatever will be taken down. How sick is that? Bye, freedom of speech. It was good knowing ya. Okay, when someone tells me not to talk about something in particular like that, for me, I'm just thinking, well, if they don't want me talking about it, then it must be true. And they also released a statement. Actually, I think this was, I wrote down this is what the Facebook statement was, but I think this is from YouTube. YouTube released a statement saying anything that does not coincide with what the World Health Organization is saying is being taken down as well. So there's no room for second opinions here. If you don't do exactly what we say, we're gonna take your voice away. Sounds like freedom. Okay, I'm moving on to guilty by association. So a lot of these people that are in charge, okay. Remember those stand-up guys I showed you before? If you saw me out and about hanging out with people that looked like this, or if these people were just in my social circle, wouldn't you question my integrity? Wouldn't you question my person? Wouldn't you think, why is that person hanging out with those people? Guilty by association. It's a real thing. Bill Gates, who's supposed to be coming out with this vaccine for us to save us all. Thank you, Bill Gates. I appreciate you. So this guy's supposed to be coming out with this vaccine for us. He's also besties with Dr. Fauci, okay? Dr. Fauci, obviously you know who he is, especially if you're watching mainstream. He's been kind of like calling the shots on this whole thing. Well, he and Bill Gates are besties. My problem with that is Bill Gates, now Bill Gates has been around a lot of questionable people, and I'll get into that in a minute. But Bill Gates recently, since this virus has taken place, hired the spirit cooking Satanist, Marina Abramovich. If you don't believe me, this woman is sick. She is sick. Let's just get back to the point. He hired her to do an ad for Microsoft, this new like technology where you put like the VR glasses on and everything's so techy. We can't talk to each other, we can't get close to each other, but let's get close to technology, right? Okay, so he recently hired this woman. This woman, let me show you a little bit of her stuff. Maybe you've heard of her. She's an artist. She's so artsy, it's crazy. Guys, this is nothing I am making up. I want you to understand this. This is out there for the world to see if you just open your eyes to it, okay? This woman literally has this written on the wall. It is a mix of fresh breast milk with fresh sperm milk. Drink on earthquake nights. This is her artwork. But I'm not making this up. This is sick. So if you don't believe me that Bill Gates hired her, he did. Also, he has since removed the ads because so many people were like attacking it. It's sick. If you want to see how sick she really, I mean, more her artwork. Does that look Does that look normal to you? Are you okay with this image? That's not her child, by the way. Even if it was her child, it's a weird pose. Like, more of her artwork. Look her name up. Just look her up. Oh, check out Lady Gaga eating from this cannibalistic looking dish. This is not made up. I'm not making this up. This is like legitimate real life. These people do this. Okay, so let's move on to this more guilty by association. So those people are all in association with each other. If you look over at the Clintons, they're also in association with Bill Gates, okay? Like, I love how people, like, they're just like, oh, rich people just all hang out with each other. Like, that's just what they do. Okay, well, that's weird. If you're hanging out with these people, Clintons are also known to hang out with John Podesta, Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner was actually found guilty, and all the stuff on his laptop, there was already so much that was disgusting to begin with. If you don't know who Anthony Weiner is, he was really tight with the Clintons whenever they were running, when Hillary Clinton was running for office. I'm not going to go into a big video about him, but he's a sick man. Pedophilia, like, was running rampant on his laptops and all of his devices. It's just disgusting. Okay, so the Clintons have been in connection with Bill Gates, like I said, with John Podesta, with Anthony Weiner, with Marina Abramovich, with James Alefantis. If you don't know who that is, okay, let me skip him for a second and go back to the last one. And Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, you know, the guy that didn't kill himself. That's who the Clintons are involved with. While simultaneously, like, supporting Bill Gates. Okay, think about the last time that you were out with friends, and say you're taking pictures with some of your friends. Do you take pictures with people that you have absolutely no idea who they are and, like, post them and, like, just are totally cool with, like, being associated with them? Because I don't. Not that I really go out, but if I did, even when I was younger, you know, I don't remember ever taking pictures with people that I didn't even have some sort of friendship with. These people are seen together all the time. Would you be cool with, like, with the person coming out with the vaccine that you're supposed to take, like, just hanging out at these spirit cooking parties, or hanging out with this Marina Abramovich, who is a self-proclaimed Satanist, who does these spirit cookings, who does these cannibalistic parties? Guys, I'm not making this up. I know it sounds insane. I know this. I know it sounds insane. This is not coming from me. Like, these are not, like, my thoughts. I would have never been able to dream this stuff up. This is a lot to take in, and I know this video is gonna be stupid long, but there's so many things that you guys just probably don't even realize. Maybe you have heard of this stuff. I don't know. And I really didn't even want to get into, like, the political side of things, which there's no more political side of things. I'm just gonna be honest with you. There is no more political side of things. Everything is so out of control now. I didn't want, you know, in the first one, I didn't want to bring any type of religion or anything into it, but there's nothing else to just say. Oh, there is one thing to say. I forgot to tell you. Okay, so Bill Gates. If you're not familiar with the Bible, I'll tie this in together in a second, but he is wanting to come out with this chip that you put in your hand or in your forehead, your right hand or your forehead. And this chip will be used to be able to buy and sell goods. Okay? And he wants this for everybody on the planet. Everybody on planet Earth. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of chips. Okay? So this is going to be your only way that he foreseeingly... This is for your own good. Think about it. This is for your own good, says Bill Gates. He wants this so you can be tracked, so they can keep up with how many people. So anyways, this guy already has a patent on this chip. Do you want to know what this patent is? Well, let me tell you. This is public information, by the way. Go look it up. The patent number on this chip is WO 2020 060606. If you are not familiar with the Bible at all, in Revelation 13, I'll look it up. I'll look it up in just a second. Okay, I have it pulled up because I didn't remember the verse verbatim. But this is in Revelations 13:16 through 17. And he that causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and of bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man should buy or sell, say that sell, save he that had the mark of the beast. Hold on, that's like the new. Let me get the real book. Hold on. Okay, I got the real book. This is more trustworthy than just looking at Google. Okay, and he that causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, and the number of his name. Okay, and there is. Okay, so the mark of the beast, the number that the Bible's referring to, is 600, 6. So 6 is 6. Okay, so 666. I'm sure you guys have heard this, but maybe you haven't really seen it play out and what's really going on here. Guys, I can't make this up. Now, I didn't want to get religious on you, but this is all signs point to go. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's no way that I could have possibly left religion out of this. There's no way I could have not read that verse to you. Buy or sell goods. That is exactly what Bill Gates had said. So that you don't have to, so for the convenience of your life, just take this chip in your hand, and you know, they say in the forehead, because can you imagine if like there's people that don't have hands, right? There's amputees. So the forehead would be the next place to put it. Now, I don't want this video to go on too long, but if you don't know the general story of the Bible, and that's okay, a lot of people don't, and I'm not going to come down on anybody for not knowing it, but basically what had happened is God kicked him out. He did not send, and this is a common misconception. People believe that that God kicked Satan out and he sent him to hell. He did not go to hell. He went to earth. He is on earth. There is a hell. He's not there right now. There are so many things that have been leading up to Satan is going to try taking over the world 3 times before, and the 3rd time God just said, fine, go for it, and my people will still come to me. My people will still hear my voice and come to me. So go ahead and try to do everything you want. Well, Satan's goal here on earth is to make his own heaven. He wants everybody to worship him. So he can't do that through spirit. He can't do that the same way that God can. So what his is to basically put chips in us. That's our way of showing, you know, we can't give our heart to, or we give our heart to Christ, right? We can't physically do that with Satan. So what we do with him is we're showing our allegiance to him by putting this chip in our body. That's what this whole thing basically goes to. So, yeah. So before I go ahead and get out of here, I'm just going to go ahead and pray with y'all. If you guys don't want to pray, that's fine. You can go ahead and click out of this video. But I'm just going to go ahead and pray with y'all. So, I thank you for everything you've done for us every single day of our lives. We're all here. We're all alive. And we all still have the chance to come to you before it's too late. We know that our salvation is not work-based. There is nothing that we could physically do on earth that would give us salvation except for believeth in your Son, Jesus Christ. Now, I trust in every word that you have told me. I trust in you. I believe in you, and I have you in my heart. I have Jesus in my heart. We all fall short of your glory. Every single one of us. No one is perfect. No one is without sin. It's impossible. That's why Jesus died for us. That's why you sent your Son to die for us. Lord, we love you so much, and I pray for every single person watching this video. I pray that they know you, and if they don't know you, I pray that they come to know you, that they just sit down and clear their minds and come to you and say, Jesus, come into my heart. It's the only way we can get to you, Lord. And for the people that are the sick spirit cookers, let your will be done. I love you so much, and in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Like a body of water.